Welcome to Griff Burns Books. I'm Griff. Write more, troll less. This is a Moonbeam production. Like, follow, subscribe, comment. We want all that stuff. Write more, troll less. And today we're going to dive right into Patriot Pirates, where this is we're going to do a short form book review. That's what we do here. We don't actually burn books for you. So Patriot Pirates is written by Robert H. Patton, who is the son of General George Patton. This is a really interesting topic that I like. It's more naval war history, like we did our last video on the Battle of Leyte Gulf. Now we're talking about pirates who contributed to the patriotic cause of the American Revolution, which is just a really cool topic. There's lots of really cool people that are in this book that also, signed this Declaration of Independence that hangs up in Griff's wall. So if you want to know more about the founders of America and maybe how they contributed to piracy and scallywags and whatnot. So it's really interesting in that regard because there's people like John Hancock, John Adams in this book. John Paul Jones is written a lot in this book. Very interesting history. The book itself, not a lot of visual presence. Its sequence is kind of off. It's a great subject, and it's really cool stuff. Like, I could just drown myself in Patriot Pirates because naval war history and patriotism and the founding of America is super cool. So let's dive right into this real quick. We're just going to go ahead and get started. You can see some of this. I read this book a long time ago, and so when I was still kind of learning how to read super good. But you can see here, this is one of the most important quotes of the book. It talks a lot about Boston. It talks a lot about the West Indies. It talks a lot about the coastal New England area and the colonies, the 13 colonies. It also talks about France and Spain and those coastlines and those nations' influence in the American Revolution through piracy. But this particular quote is really good. Before the war, a huge proportion of Massachusetts men had participated in fishing, shipbuilding, or ocean trades. And so it's laying out the framework that's in the beginning of the book of what actually the author's talking about. Now, like I said, the sequence of the book isn't great. It tends to bounce around a whole lot. There's a lot of obscurity to this story about pirates who were actually contributing to the patriotic cause of America. More or less, colonial pirates, American pirates, going up against the indomitable British Navy. What America really kind of did was legalize piracy. Like I said, John Hancock had a big role to play in it. General Nathanael Greene's in here a whole bunch, who is pretty interesting. Let me get to a quote a little bit later here. But this is also in the book on page 100. It talks about the Brooklyn Navy Yard, where there was a big massacre of prisoners, patriots who were pirates as well, and POWs. It talks a lot in that particular chapter about the POWs who were captured by the British Navy and the treatment on both sides of the war, which was harsh, just to say the least. But this part right here I really like because it's at the Brooklyn Naval Yard. It talks about a monument and a memorial that is now it no longer exists. It just fell into disrepair and nobody took care of it. So this is a cool book if you're into kind of like the forgotten heroes of the American Revolution. There's a ton in here. So there's lots of cool tidbits like that where it talks about those amazing men. Nathanael Greene, this is a really good quote I like from the book as well, talking about General Nathanael Greene, or the fighting Quaker, the savior of the South. He thought of piracy as a sport, more or less, but that dives into some of the bigger themes that Patton kind of touches on. Really, this book is not written the best, and it fails at getting to those big principles about the important role of piracy and the American naval divide, or what have you. Just how the American patriots countered the massively outmatched British Navy, which at that time was the Navy of the world. Patton doesn't really do a great job in it. It jumps around a lot, so you have to just kind of take your time and read it slowly and just pick up the tidbits where you can and do more research. It provoked me to do a bunch more research on even like John Paul Jones, who's in here, and just other naval revolutionary heroes. One of the quotes I also like from Patton is when he's talking about the French here. The French and the American relationship was interesting because the French Navy kind of supported American piracy in a way that was very opportunistic, and they gained a lot from it. So it's kind of how they collected their bill for services rendered as an ally of the Americans. The Spanish at first were clandestinely supporting American pirates, and then kind of moved to a position of being indifferent because they realized that a free and liberated America would actually influence their colonies in the New World, which it did, which isn't addressed in this book. That's one of the principles that Patton kind of misses in this book. But it's still a very, very cool book. There's a little bit of a touch on the debate between the two parties internally in America in this book, where it talks about John Paul Jones and some of the others considered pirates unruly or scallywags or unruliness was what it was. But in reality, it was the only way to get the job done. Washington used pirates just as much as he used spies in New York. So maybe pirate and spy is kind of like the same thing. There's probably some overlap in those two demographics of patriotic people who are probably more than likely forgotten. You can read about them right here. Patriot Pirates. Check it out. Robert Patton does a great job, good job. I definitely highly recommend getting this book if you're into naval history or American Revolutionary history. So check that one out. This is officially burned. Patriot Pirates. Our next book, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to take a break from the naval warfare history and the history itself. I'm going to read this book. I've never read it before. So it's Louis L'Amour, and it's The Haunted Mesa. It's fiction about the Anasazi Native Americans in southeastern Utah, which is really cool, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and read this one and then burn it for you guys. Here in a couple weeks, we're going to drop another video. We're going to take a couple weeks off and just kind of chill out and read some cool fiction, historical fiction, Native American mysticism kind of stuff, and burn that one for you guys next. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to read some poetry first. I want to read some poetry from A Moment of Violence, which I've been reading, and is an amazing poetry book by war poet Luke Ryan, who is an Afghanistan veteran and an Army Ranger. So he published this, I think it was in 2020, actually, and it's really cool poetry. But there's one in here I just want to read to you guys really quick. So some of you guys will like this, and ladies and guys. So yeah, here it is on page 49. It's cheers. Cheers to the sons of fallen soldiers. Cheers to the daughters who never were. Cheers to the generations of unknown faces, those who may have saved the world. Cheers to the families of vacant spaces. Cheers to the sunsets to pass unseen. Cheers to deeds undone by combat. And above all, cheers to the lives confined to memory. And that's a really cool poem. Check this one out. Luke Ryan, A Moment in Violence. Cheers. All right. So we got into some more poetry. I am going to read you guys 3 of my poems that I've written recently. So the first one that I'm going to read you is The Battle of the Blue Check Marks. And then I'm going to read you one that I wrote after watching Our Greatest Hour, or Our Darkest Hour, about Winston Churchill, and it's The Darkness of Dunkirk. And then I'm going to also read you one that I wrote that is called Grendel is My Hero. And so you guys, please subscribe, follow us, like, comment, and tell me which one of these 3 poems after I read them off the paper you want me to put to memory and read for you live. Okay, so first, let me get this out because gotta, poetry time. And ready, set. I'm gonna read the Battle of the Blue Check Marks first. So, this is my poem that I wrote. This is Griff Burns' books, and this is the Battle of the Blue Check Marks. What is validation? Does it have a symbol? Can we identify a bot from a hero? What if everyone had a blue check mark? Battle, 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 raging online, tweet, post, comment, giving attention, raising awareness, selling me useless shit. The night is cold and dark, we own it. No more blue check marks, just individual violence. Just do it. Nobody's actually raising awareness in a society that has hyper information. Laughable, communist. Tennis shoes are stitched by slaves. That is your trade. Time to own it. The Battle of the Blue Check Marks is fucking pointless. Alright, that's the Battle of the Blue Check Marks. Let me know if you want me to put that one in memory and read it for you. This one, not so confrontational. It's more historical. Like I said, I wrote this one after I watched the latest Winston Churchill movie, Our Darkest Hour. And this is the darkness of Dunkirk. We shall fight tyrants, Churchill telling his sailors. We will win, no matter the cost, no how great the loss. Little British girls say never, never, never surrender. While cowards signal submission, freedom our mission. Civilians come first to save the soldiers at Dunkirk. Then waves of warriors wouldn't be long after. Yanks going berserk on fascist Germans who took France. Our motto, give evil no chance. Nothing less than full victory. Never indulging evil regimes and men. We will fight them with sword and pen. Words, 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 let the righteous fighting begin. Long live the memory of Sir Winston Churchill, the bravest prime minister. Poppies for the fallen. Honor their sacrifice. Live a noble life. So that one is The Darkness of Dunkirk. Like I said, comment and let us know if you want me to put that one in memory and read it for you. This last one is Grendel, My Hero, and this is Griff Burns' books, and this is my poem. I wrote it. This is probably my favorite of the three. So it's Grendel is my hero. What is a monster? Is he a descendant of Cain? Envy or hunger? What was in his brain? Disgusting appearance, an affinity for violence. What is the difference? We all can't be altruistic. Will the hero have fame? Killing the monster, a son or daughter? Even one so hideous can still be loved. Fight me, Grendel. I need a monster for my ego. I must conquer to become their hero. Fight me, Grendel. To fight a monster, you must become his equal. Now ask Nietzsche, who is the real evil? There are no monsters, there are no heroes. And that is Grendel is my hero. And this is Griff Burns' books, where we do short form book reviews. We did one for you today of Patriot Pirates. Great book by Robert Patton. I thought it was really cool too that Winston Groom did a review of this book. And we did Winston Groom's book here a couple videos ago for you guys too. So definitely check out that one. We also read short form. We also read poetry and do those short form book reviews for you here at Griff Burns Books, Moonbeam Production. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment. Tell me which one of these poems you want me to read in our next video. Everyone, stay safe and have a great week.